He's the luckiest kid in the world. He found $10 on the road and went to the store to buy a piece of Wonka chocolate. He opened the package and inside was a golden ticket. And there are only 5 of these golden tickets in the world. The adults around him even offered a high price for it. Because with the golden ticket, they are eligible to visit the world's largest chocolate factory. And the owner of the factory is the chocolate genius Willy Wonka. The chocolates produced here are not only silky and soft, but also very creative. There's a chocolate sandwich that turns into a bird when you bite into it. And ice cream that never melts. They even built a chocolate palace for an Indian prince. The Wonka brand became more and more influential in the world. Soon, peers were using commercial spies to get their hands on Wonka's secret recipe for chocolate, causing Wonka's unique products to become ubiquitous. In anger, Wonka shut down the factory and laid off half of the town's population early. But Wonka didn't give up and went to the rainforest alone in search of new and exotic flavors. Instead, he accidentally discovers the Oompa-Loompas who live in the rainforest. They usually feed on big green bugs and serve them to their guests. Wonka couldn't resist the offer, so he took a bite. The taste of it made him almost throw up. In addition to big green worms, they also loved cacaos. But cacaos are very rare in the rainforest. Wonka saw this as an opportunity and decided to supply the dwarves with cacaos and hire them to work in the factory, so he wouldn't have to worry about any commercial espionage. In the end, an agreement was reached. The factory started to operate from scratch. Today, while cutting his hair, Wonka noticed that he had gray hair. Considering the longevity of the factory, he decided to find a new successor. So he put 5 invitation tickets inside the package of Wonka's chocolates to find 5 children from all over the world to visit his factory. And 1 child would receive a mystery gift from him. Once the news broke, children and even adults around the world started to rush to buy Wonka chocolates. His name is Charlie and his biggest dream is to visit the Wonka chocolate factory. But he couldn't buy a single piece, because his family conditions do not allow. His family of 7 was crammed into the most dilapidated house in town. His mother was a full-time housewife. His father worked in a toothpaste factory. But not long ago, he was replaced by a robot because of the progress of the times. It's a hard life, but the family is very loving. Tonight, his parents bought Charlie an early birthday present of a bar of Wonka chocolate. The whole family was expecting some kind of surprise, but there was no raffle ticket inside. Charlie smiled and shared his birthday present with his family. It was the best chocolate in the world, with 5 raffle tickets inside. The child who draws the ticket will be eligible to visit the world's largest chocolate factory. The first ticket was soon eaten, and it was the gluttonous Augustus Gloop. He eats hundreds of pieces of chocolate every day. Even the golden ticket was almost eaten by him. The second was the spoiled Veruca Salt. She relies on her father's money. He bought all the chocolate in the city and mobilized all the factory workers to dismantle it for 3 days and 3 nights and finally found the golden ticket. The third one is the arrogant Violet Beauregarde. She's always been competitive since she was a child, and she has to be first in everything she does. Just recently, she won the world championship in gum chewing. Chewed a piece of gum for 3 months. The fourth is the ill-tempered Mike TV. His golden ticket came easy. He used his brain to figure out the location of the ticket, bought a piece of chocolate and won. Now there is 1 left. Charlie's grandfather wanted to fulfill his grandson's dream and contributed his own money that he had saved for years so that he could buy another piece. But it didn't work out that way, and there was still no golden ticket. Charlie was standing outside the factory and was a little disappointed. On his way home, he accidentally found $10. He went to the store and bought a piece of chocolate. Luck was finally on his side. Inside was the last golden ticket. He raced home. When his grandfather, who had been bedridden for years, saw the golden ticket, he jumped up and jumped for a while. The next day, in front of all the residents of the town, 5 groups of family members came to the factory and enjoyed a good song and dance show. Then Wonka led them to start a tour of the factory. He pushed open the small door, and everyone was amazed by the scene in front of them. It was like a fairy tale world. Everything is made of chocolate. Augustus immediately began to eat mode. In a short time, his mouth was full of chocolate. As a result, he accidentally fell into the river and became a chocolate boy. At this point Wonka look. The big pipe for transporting chocolate was stuck into the river and sucked Augustus directly into it. Then the dwarves working here come out and sing and dance, meaning Augustus is too gluttonous to get the mystery prize. Augustus was eliminated from the game. Next, the remaining 4 groups of families got into the dragon boat with candy. They continued their tour along the chocolate river. They arrived at Wonka Labs. There were candy balls that you could eat for a year and chocolate that would make you say goodbye to baldness. There's even a piece of gum. Chewing it for a minute is equivalent to eating 3 meals. but this product is in the experimental stage. When Viola Bull heard about it, she said she was the world champion of gum chewing and just shoved it into her mouth. She didn't chew a few times, but she started to turn purple all over, and her body became bigger and bigger, swelling up like a giant blueberry. Thus Violet's eliminated from the competition. Look how real this girl's fake smile is, with her big teeth in full view. She wanted her father to buy her the Wonka Chocolate Factory squirrels as pets, because these squirrels are professionally trained to be cute and can tell the difference between good and bad walnuts. But Wonka said he would not sell them. Veruca decided to catch them herself. She picked one and was about to do it. The squirrels got angry and knocked Veruca to the ground. The little squirrel tapped Veruca on the head. It heard all the responses. Then they tossed her down the garbage chute as a bad fruit. And so Veruca was eliminated from the competition. Now there were only 2 kids left. Wonka took them on a glass elevator tour of the chocolate-covered Mount Everest and the candy fireworks that could be set off. They went to the pilot plant. Here they were testing giant chocolates that had been scaled down and transported to a television set where they could be eaten at their fingertips. Mike didn't think Wonka understood science. He had flashed into the teleportation device. After a flash of white light, he really got into the TV, but he has become smaller, and so Mike was eliminated from the competition. Now the 5 families are left with Charlie's family. Charlie became the last lucky winner of the mystery gift. At this time, the 4 eliminated families left the factory. They looked very messy. Charlie brought Wonka to the house. Wonka announced the mystery gift that Charlie would become the successor of the factory and inherit the assets. Charlie agreed without saying a word. But then Wonka said the additional condition was that he would live alone in the factory and would not see his family again. Charlie decisively refused. He chose to stay with his family. Wonka was a little disappointed. He thought that all children would make the same choice as he did at the beginning. It turns out that Wonka loved chocolate when he was little, but his father was the town's famous dentist. Every time Wonka asked for candy for Halloween, his father would burn it all. One day Wonka found a piece of chocolate that hadn't been burned. He picked it up and put it in his mouth. From then on he started to steal all kinds of chocolates and would write down their taste and texture in a notebook. Before long, he told his father that he would make the best chocolate in the world, but he was scolded by his father. Wonka chose to run away from home and traveled a lot of countries to taste more different kinds of chocolates. When he grew up, Wonka opened a chocolate store. His business is extremely successful, so it wasn't long before Wonka opened the world's largest chocolate factory. He and his father hadn't seen each other for many years until now. One day Wonka found Charlie. He was opened up by Charlie's words. Accompanied by Charlie, the 2 of them went to his father's clinic. Father and son embraced each other after not seeing each other for years. Charlie looked at the newspaper that was cut and pasted on the wall. It turns out that Wonka's father had been watching his son in silence. Finally, Wonka felt the warmth of home. Charlie also succeeded in the factory and was surrounded by his family all the time.